Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to some and peace out to the rest of you. Black heart, black mind, black and again, hit the share button because the message is more important than the messenger. So let me get straight to this. Chad Wheeler choked out his wife. We know the story. He told her to bow. She didn't. He choked her, thought she was dead, kept eating, and then said he didn't take his meds. So that means that she found him a better deal with mental medication he needs to take than a brother. That's what that means. Because we know sisters got choices. And that means that she was willing to do the work to convince a man from a demographic not normally interested in her demographic and passed up brothers who would have been interested in her to get one of these guys, to do more work to get one of these guys who's taking psychotropic medication, or rather not taking prescribed necessary psychotropic medication. That's what we're dealing with here. Now I want you all to stop and think about this too. Okay? In the end, they're blaming us. We know that. I was just waiting for it to happen, and we're already being told that we somehow are to blame for this, blame black men again because she was unprotected. Well, she stepped out of the protection of any brothers anyway, and most of them we've already been through that. Here's the thing, though. I have said that it's not the same when brothers step out as it is when sisters step out, because we usually do step out. We go for non-Western sisters. We go for other women of color. And Becky's probably the last, especially Western Becky. She's like the last one we'll give a shot to, give a chance. When it comes down to it, Karen actually had more to do with that choking incident than Shine. We ain't have nothing to do with that. Nothing. Who had more to do with that without actually being in the room was Chad's mother. And that's a Becky or a Karen or an Amber. She ain't no Boom, Sheikah, Bonquisha, or Sapphire, and Chad's dad ain't no Shine. So while we're being blamed for this, the fact is that Karen, Becky, and Amber actually had more to do with this, because Dr. Tommy J. Curry rightly pointed out that they are the mothers of white supremacy. They raise it. The kids get it as much from them as they get it from their fathers. That's the truth of the matter. See, as I've said before, when a black man does marry a white woman, he already has to have on average 8 times more wealth than that same woman would have ever required from a white husband. You got to have more to marry the same chick if she's white. Bruh, that's exactly what we said we're going to leave Boom, Sheikah, Bonquisha, and Sapphire for doing. Sitting up here looking at us and saying that we got to bring the bag, but Thuggo gets to bring cheap liquor and swag. Well, I mean, come on. If we're going to sit up and leave her for that, that's cool. We got to. We don't have a choice. She pushing us away. But you don't turn around and get with Karen and Becky and Amber. So when it sounds like I'm dingling policing in this one, you further mucking right, so be it. I'm actually dingling advising. But if I was policing, so what? This would be the necessary policing. Because when some of you do go and you chase after Becky and Amber and Karen, you further lower the value of the next man's junk. And if I was in the West, you would have lowered the value of my junk too. Like right off the bat, already it's negatively valued just because I'm a guy. Now you're going to sit around and make the negative number bigger. So there are some of you that really do just want a Becky or a Karen or an Amber. You're not that much in number, not at all. The problem is you do exist and you got a platform and a microphone. So I'm going to tell men that if I'm sitting up here telling you to avoid the Pakistani, the Persian, the Arab, and the Afghan, because their people have a history of kind of looking down on us along with the Japanese and the Koreans, and you don't really want that kind of headache unless you can isolate her from her people. I'm telling you that Becky and Karen and Amber are even worse, and you cannot isolate them from their people. They're not going to accept that. They'll sit up and demand that you have 8 times the wealth that they would demand of one of their own men. Somewhere between 4 to twice the wealth they would demand from a Hispanic man. They'll demand that of you, but if you say, okay, I got that money, now you're going to come live with me over here in this black jurisdiction, they're going to be like, no, I'm not leaving my people. Now they'll say my people means my family, true, but what they really mean is my race. I'm not leaving my context. I'm not leaving my people, meaning my race. That's why if she's from Idaho, she would rather live in Florida than to live in Jamaica. Because even though it's a longer flight between Florida and Idaho than it will ever be between Florida and Montego Bay, she knows, she understands. Florida's cool, but Montego Bay, that's too black. It ain't white enough. You ain't gonna convince her of that. They ain't playing those games. So at the end of the day, they're doing the same thing, really. It's just they're more willing to sleep with you without marrying you than other women are. That's all. But that ain't really saying much. But when they start blaming us for Chad Wheeler choking out his wife and almost killing her to the point he actually believed she was dead, and they start saying it's y'all ain't protecting us, you jump up and you say, hold up. Let me explain something to you. Okay? She left brothers to pursue him because we already know when the sister's with a white dude, she had a dude to pursue him. They ain't pursuing sisters. That's not happening. I mean, they may get together, but we already know they're not pursuing sisters. So you say you, the same one that's strong and independent, don't need no man, but you still can't approach a man, went and jumped ship to be less strong and independent and still approach him. That's how she gets him. That's how y'all always get one of those guys, only to get choked out. We were nowhere in the room. We had nothing to do with it. But by the way, that woman that you want to be had a hell of a lot more to do with him choking her out than we ever did. That's the real blame. That's the connection between them and this incident in the first place. They raised Chad, and they raised a whole bunch of other Chad Wheelers. They outright disrespect you to a certain extent. They're just willing to sleep with you even when they don't, even when they look down on you. It's odd because they'll do that with brothers. They won't do that with their own. They look down on one of their own men, they won't sleep with him. They look down on a brother, they still want to sleep with him. It's funny, it's crazy, but don't mistake that as some kind of compliment, gentlemen. It's not. Not at all. I think you get the picture. Thanks for listening to Black Heart, Black Mind, Blackout. Assalamu alaikum to black, heterosexual, non-select male power just because they don't like it, and black patriarchy until extinction or judgment day.